YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. And right when you think, this NFL offseason can't get any crazier, Deshaun Watson decides, he's going to pick a team that he removed from consideration, the Cleveland Browns. Turns out it was about money this entire time. All this time it was about who's going to guarantee all this money and then the raise that he's going to get. Wild. Absolutely wild. We got the trade details, and we already talked about all this on Twitter pretty much, but I'm also going to grade each team. A little bit of surprise on the compensation here. I think it surprised all of us. And I just did a mock draft a little bit ago, and now I got to update that again. And then there's a bunch of free agent signings, so we have to grade some more of those as well. It's a busy time of the year. It's exciting, though. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Follow our Twitter for live updates, thoughts, and more. And then, subscribe, turn notifications on. You guys know the drill. Bunch of free agency grades out there. Definitely more to come covering the NFL draft. Got to update that mock. Here's our Twitter. Just a lot of updates, thoughts on the Juju signing. There's been some releases, everything. We got everything on there. So to the trade details, the Browns get Deshaun Watson. They also get a 2024 fifth-round pick. That's probably the strangest part. Maybe not, but it's up there. Yeah, the Browns actually got a pick back here, a fifth-round pick. Never would have guessed that. Texans, hey, they get the 13th overall pick this year from the Cleveland Browns. They're going to get two more first rounds on top of that, consecutive years, 22, 3, 4, and then a 2023 third. So not this year, next year, third, and then 2024 fourth-round pick. So yeah, the surprises here is that, he just, decide that it end up being all about the money, number one. And the Browns got a really good team. They got a really good team, and I was surprised he removed the Browns first out of the teams. And now we see quotes coming out that he thinks the Browns are a really good team, and he does because they do have a good team. But it 100% end up being about the money. He removed them first. I think what was not appealing to them at first was, I think he wanted warm weather or inside, but then came back when they were like, hey, we're gonna pay up, $80 million in guaranteed raise, just a ridiculous contract that we didn't even know this whole time that he needed. I think I tweeted it a few hours ago that it's sounding more and more like it's about the money, so then just started to, gear towards that. But it ended up being about the money there. The Browns went and got in there, and then the Texans, no matter what, they were getting a haul. We knew 100% there was 3 first-round picks. 100%. That was like a guarantee, and they got the 3 first-round picks. That's not a surprise, the 3 first-round picks. That's not any more, or just looking at just those, it's not any more or less than we thought just with first-round picks. I got the 13th overall pick. I'm trying to, if you went to the Saints, this is a win looking at the Saints because the Saints, aren't picking as high as 13, but it really started to feel like the Falcons. It really did. And they have the 8th pick, 8 and 13. Doesn't sound that much different, but the difference in value between those two picks, you could salt the trade value chart. It's a little bit of a difference there. Obviously, pick 8, top, picking the top 8, but 13 is still a very solid pick there. But yeah, that a little surprising with the compensation. I keep going back to why are the Browns getting a pick? I know it's a swap 4 and 5, but they're still getting a pick. And then how is there no second round pick involved in this? I just can't believe there's no second round pick involved. And I suppose that the Texans lost leverage because he chose one team, but we knew that the whole way he was going to do that, and it was always 3 1s and then 2s and maybe players, so a little wild there. But to the grades, I'm grading the Browns an A+, and then people may say, well, what if he gets suspended? If he does get suspended, it's going to be for a small portion of this year. I think they would have, they could have suspended him last year even though he was out. Wait till he plays and then suspend him. They could. This is kind of a long-term trade, and so I'm not really worried about that. If he gets suspended, it is what it is. The way they structured the contract was to be friendly with that, obviously. At the end of the day, one of the biggest goals, maybe number one in the NFL, is getting a good quarterback. But if you can get an elite quarterback, it's kind of been proven that you have to have a certain level of quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So the Browns get that done on top of having a very good offensive line. That's kind of on the checklist to win a Super Bowl. Having playmakers. They got Cooper. They already have playmakers at the running back position. And then having, a defense. Can you stop the run on early downs, and can you get after the quarterback? The Browns have defense at every level of the defense. Of course, they could improve maybe in the interior a little bit, but they have one of the best in football, Myles Garrett, getting after the quarterback. They can stop the run on early downs. They're not going to lose because somebody's running all over them, and they have playmakers in the back end. So the Browns pretty much have completed their team. It doesn't mean they can't get better in some spots. Like I said, maybe the interior of the defense is a little surprising they moved on from J.C. Treader, but center position you can make way with a number of different types of players. So this is it. They built I will wait and see if they go win a championship, but they went and built the championship team here. They went and they weren't afraid to get better. They took a gamble. They paid him a lot of money. I guess we can discuss the contract separate with Gray in this actual trade as well. And they gave up weight. It's programmed in our head. It's been fed to us that the Texans were going to get 3 first-round picks and then 2 second-round picks and then maybe a player in there. If not, maybe 3 second-round picks. And that just didn't happen here. Browns didn't give up any. Not only did they not give up any valuable players, they didn't give up any players. They didn't give up a single second-round pick. They actually got a pick back in this, which is a small part of it. But I think that's pretty wild. Here. It's the dream to get a quarterback like this. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm not the off-the-field issue guy. Of course, he's got to take care of business off there. But it's a big-time move for the Browns. It makes it even crazier that right before, they were out. They were out on Deshaun Watson. So they were able to pay up. It's just crazy how the money ended up being what it was there. But the Browns got I think, pretty damn good roster. Then grading the Texans is a tough one to grade. I'm going to give them a C+. Right when the compensation came out, it's like, wow, I was really expecting more than that. Like we've been saying, like, how is there not a second-round pick? Thought maybe there'd be a player, especially if there's not a single second-round pick. Why are the Browns getting a pick back? And then I started thinking about the positives, like I always do, and I'm sure the Texans fans were a little upset at first, or maybe they're, that's what you do. You try to think of the positives here, and okay, it's over. He's gone. We still got a lot of picks. Maybe they lost some leverage. We knew that was going to happen, though. I think they end up losing a little bit more. So I started thinking that way, and like, yeah, at least it's over. They still got. We expected them to get 3 first-round picks. They got other picks too. But then I start thinking about some more negatives here at this one and why I kept it from being in that B range. And that's, on top of it, I don't know how a second-round pick is not involved in this. I really don't. Every time I did a million trade scenarios with Watson over the last year, and anytime I had less than 3 firsts and 2 twos, even more, even every time I had that and maybe a player or another pick, if I had that or less, people were saying I wasn't given enough, so the people that said that cannot be happy about this because it's way less than anything I've ever had in a scenario. But another thing, though, are they regretting passing up on Miami's offer? We don't know exactly what Miami's offer is, but I'm very, 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 very confident that it was 3 1s, 2 2s, at least that. There might have been something else in there. So 3 1s, 2 2s, which murders this one. So are they? What was the reason that they kind of declined that at the time and stopped talking? Oh, we'll wait. We're not in a hurry. We'll wait. That really wasn't that long ago. An NFL season that was halfway through the season. It doesn't last a whole entire year. It's just an NFL season. So we'll wait. And it made sense. We'll wait. We might get more, in a couple months here. And they kind of contradicted that too, because this actually felt like a hurry all of a sudden. And other teams needed the Texans to hurry up. The Texans themselves didn't really need to hurry up. So before it was patience, and that really wasn't that long ago. It's half of the season, so it kind of feels like it, but it really wasn't. And now it's like, all right, let's just do it. And then why I say that, because I know he picked the Browns, but remember the Browns were out. The Browns came back in. All right, we're going to throw this money at you. And you look at a team like the Falcons, who it really felt like he was going to go to, and then that would have gave a better valuable first-round pick, too. That's a reason that the C range grade. But what if, the Falcons, take a look at the Falcons, they have a lot of future cap. You actually look at 2024, they have the league's most projected. And that's a big factor here because it ended up being about money. You need to guarantee $80 million more. You need to backload the crap out of this thing. So once we learned about that, the Saints were pretty much out because they already borrowed an insane amount of money from future years to use this year, and they're just still not in that great of situation. So pretty much anybody could afford Watson this year, but there was more obstacles it became. But the Falcons, so remove the Saints, but the Falcons got that future cap. So they could have, if you wouldn't have instantly, taken this Browns deal, maybe the Falcons would have done the same thing the Browns did. Maybe. So I think it was kind of all of a sudden it went from let's be patient to let's hurry this up. And I know everybody wanted it to be hurried up. So that's kind of my problem too. That kind of factored in. And then by being patient and then not being patient, you got less than what you would have had when you were trying to be patient, which is pretty wild to think about, actually. But I just keep going back. I've said like 5,000 times, so people are probably sick of it. But I just don't know how a single second-round pick is not involved in this. I don't know. And they're only getting one 2022 pick. And something I've noticed based on the Texans signings last year and the way that they're doing the same thing this year with signings, they do not care about right now. So they're all about the future, which is fine, and they made sure they got future picks in this one. And the Browns had a load of picks this year too, because compensatory picks. So they definitely could have got the third. I think the Browns would have done it too. The Browns wouldn't have been like no, they could have got the third and the fourth round picks this year if they wanted to. So the Texans, and we can't really, I guess, knock them for that. They like the future better than they like right now. I think any draft pick right now or next year, whatever it is future though. But they got an angle, and let's see if it pays off for them. I tacked on the plus on the C, so it's not a terrible grade just because, I guess you want it to be over. I guess they still got a haul. It's not as much as we thought. They're not as much as what we were programmed to believe. I guess maybe I'm wrong on this, but we could have the Falcons came back in and just offered that guaranteed money, because they have a lot of future space there starting 2024. So it's not like the Browns had loads of space or anything either. I mean, they just kind of had their decent situation now and in the future. So not every team, I guess, is like that. But it's over. I guess we're happy that it's over. The Texans have 2 first-round picks now. So we'll see what they do with those. They have a lot of needs. They're probably going to make some more moves in free agency. I'm not expecting anything, a big-time addition to, guarantee a need is filled. But we'll see. I'm excited to watch the Browns as AFC teams are getting better. The Browns are a very good team. They have a quarterback now. They already had a really good roster. Chiefs added Juju. That's going to be a mismatch problem for defenses. The Chargers been adding guys like crazy. And then you got the Broncos got a quarterback, Russell Wilson. Then you got the Raiders got Devontae Adams. They got Chandler Jones. The Bills added Von Miller. I'm probably forgetting something. I think the Dolphins are getting better. I think the Jets are getting better. The Bengals are starting to build the offensive line. Let's see if they get La'el Collins. Ravens are changing their defensive scheme up for the better. What else we got? I think that pretty much AFC South feels like, well, the Jags are getting better. Colts need a quarterback. Titans probably around the same as last year. So it's pretty wild out there in the AFC. The NFC does not have nearly that, not even close. So Browns put themselves in legit position. The biggest gamble of this is that everything is guaranteed in that massive contract that they gave Deshaun Watson. But that's just the risk you got to take. If you want to win a championship, it's just that's the risk right there. So some teams don't want to do it. Some teams do. Some teams can't. Some teams can't give out that money, and when they have negative cap space next year and the year after planned right now, set up right now. So, pretty wild. Let me know your grades, your guys' thoughts. We're always talking on Twitter. Constant is just this off season's ridiculous. You gotta love it though. So constant news coming out. We got you covered on our Twitter. Subscribe, turn notifications on. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.